Ta-da, we're here.
I got a call from a television show, Extreme Home Makeover, which I'd never watched before. And I had the opportunity to come out and say to them, yeah, I'd like to be considered for it or not, you know. It ended up turning into being a television show, and I don't know if you've ever watched the show, but they teamed up with a bunch of locals and came in and did a show here, and that's pretty much where we went from a double wide to what you see sitting here, you know. Beautiful home. I always thanked all the guys that worked on it and everything. You know, it's just a little too much for a fisherman. And that was I guess that was one of the trees or something they had to cut down here. They mounted up in there. I don't know. But that's all gas. I can't burn wood. And that would be nice if that was a real chimney, you know, then, but not part of the thing. That thing there, I ain't even cranked it up.
What?
Never touched it. Never even opened the door. It's just there. I'm not into it, you know what I mean? Not into it. And this is my mud room. This was the mud room. This is the room I made for the dog. This is all the shit I got left from my old house.
This actually looks like a regular house.
Yeah, this was supposed to be for storage. I was like, no, this is where I live. Between here and the bedroom. This is where I come, right here. This thing here, I never even used this thing. It memorizes and CDs and radio and stuff, and you can play it in all the different rooms, and it's got a big board where you can bring up mom's music, and then you go to artists. It's like an iPod, but it's on the wall, or whatever they call them things. But I know if I leave it on, all the coolers and all the stuff that go on in it, jacks the old power bill. I was like, no, shut that off. We don't need it. Everybody's got their iPods.
How's the bait?
How's the bait?
Yeah.
Fresh.
Okay.
Told me to do that. He's the captain.
Been lobstering since 1974, and that's all I've done. And I'm 8th generation fisherman from the family. I'm the last one. I'm gonna have to do it till I die because there's no money, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna go on welfare or anything like that. I'm gonna keep working. So there's no retirement age you're gonna hook up to. I've been out here where the wave, we hit a roll wave and it put us right sideways, and the crew all quit that day. So, you know, you can die anytime out here. So I made it so far. You know, it's tough. You're dealing with other fishermen and you're dealing with some drug dealers, and if you stand up to them, then you got to fight. I've been sucker punched 6, 7 times, hit with baseball bats. It's a tough business. And this all started because I stood up to these guys. They got caught selling 500 pot plants. One guy stabbed somebody. So they're bad people. If you stand up to them, then you got to deal with them. A lot of guys just put their heads down, and don't stand up. I stand up to them, so I have to deal with, they cut my traps, they tried blowing me up, they sent 2 guys at me, I had to beat them up with an oak runner. So, you know, it's, you gotta be on your toes, but any business you're gonna have bad people. But over here, we got some bad people. Those people are almost all gone. They either died off from old age, they're in jail, and we got one real bad guy left down there.
Hello. Welcome aboard. See ya.
Uh-oh. We got a breakdown. That's not good. I'm hoping I don't have to go in there. That's forward. We might, you know, if the cable broke, I don't have a spare cable, we'll have to go in gear all day. It makes it real tough. But we're out here, we got to make money, so. Docking's tough because you got no reverse. So when you come in, it's going to be a crasher. They ain't the first time that happened. I imagine it won't be the last. It could have unhooked, but I think it might have broke. Neutral! Reverse! What? Reverse! Reverse! Neutral! 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 All right, forward! Reverse! Reverse! Neutral! Reverse! Neutral! 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 Reverse! You suck at that. We're done.
It's a typical way to drive. I'm hurt.
Sorry, Steve.
That's okay, you had to say it.
Well, you panicked one way. I don't know what happened.
I was thinking of my youth, I guess.
Steve, you got no use.
Use today.
Done. Done. I came down one day and I noticed somebody was aboard my boat. You know, we got ways of knowing. So I looked through, I opened this hatch up, looked through the cabin. They had a bomb in there, propane tank, rigged up, and they had an accelerator to start it. So when I opened that up, and they already released 2 tanks of propane in the bottom of the boat. So when I opened that up, that would be the end of me. So I had to call the fire marshals. If you go Randall Damaris on the internet, you'll see a little thing about it. Well, believe it or not, I ran away from home at 16. I actually live with my Uncle Dick, which adopted Rodney when he was 2 years old, I think. I used to walk him to school because he was afraid. And I lived with my uncle. I worked with my Uncle Dick 10 years. He was a very hard-working guy. And then what happened is, Rodney's on drugs a lot of times. And one guy, he went over, and where I had traps, he was cutting Rodney off. So at the time, we were getting along as family, because, you know, I believe in helping family. I always have. And all of a sudden, he says, "Let's make it look like you." I go, "What are you, an idiot?" So I told him. He didn't believe it. it was me. So that's what started the whole thing.
You can pick your friends, you just can't pick your family.
He's been in and out of jail.
Didn't he beat up an old woman?
Oh, yeah.
We've had gun issues, we've had assault charges with each other, we've both been arrested.
Yeah, my son came up from Texas to go hunting yesterday, and we were gonna go early, and we call him the idiot. He came down and he broke all my oars in my skiff, and he cut my line on my fuel tank, sucked my boat. So instead of going hunting yesterday, we spent most of the day fixing the outboard, getting it ready. And it was a big day. It was for the family to go hunting. So what can I do to get this idiot that's obsessed with me big time off my back? Now, you could say go out and cut traps. Well, if you go out and cut traps, then you become who he is. And then I have a lot to lose in life. And I am not, if I lose my lobster license, I lose everything I have. So my hands are tied. Well, here's my oar that's busted. I lost the other one. Cut all the line in the fuel tank. He sunk it, but guess what? The engine's back together. I got a plastic oar now. We're back in business. So no matter what he's gonna do, he's not gonna stop us. Because we're gonna keep going lobstering, keep living our lives. And when we're done lobstering, I don't talk about them to my wife or anything like that, or friends or nothing. Because, you know, you gotta live your life and you gotta leave all that in the past so you can have fun. And it's warm enough today, I might go golfing today. And that's about all I have to say. I guess I could glue it back, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll just burn it for firewood. Probably all good it's good for. That's all I have to say.
Welcome back to Ryerson on the Air. I'm Emily Agard, and coming your way now, we have a special presentation. While it is a student project, it deals with an issue that touches everyone. Bridging Minds is a documentary that looks to remove the stigma and myths from mental illness. Take a look.
I encountered this very vividly not too long ago, about a month ago, in the building where I work. And there was a man waiting for an appointment, and he saw me and he asked, well, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm the community mental health worker. And his immediate reaction was to make a face of disgust and step back. And I was kind of shocked by it. And then he kind of leaned in, still with the step back, leaned in and go, how can you tell if people are mentally ill? And I just looked at him and I said, you're looking at it.
The stigmas that people with mental health issues carry. You might be violent. You're probably not reliable. You're probably unpredictable, so we better watch out.
How many bullets do I have left?
People believe that people with mental illnesses are violent. They're not really any more violent than the general public. And in fact, research shows that people who have mental illnesses are more likely to be victims of violence than to be perpetrators.
A lot of chicken stews. When I was homeless, we would gather our food from the garbage bins and back.
I was diagnosed first in 1987 with schizophrenia. I've been a truck driver for some 25 years. When I took sick in 2000, I had lost everything, my car and girlfriend and apartment with possessions, and wound up homeless because I didn't have the financial means to cut my losses and move on somewhere else.
I had a job last year as a frontline healthcare worker, working with people with mental health challenges. While I was taking time off of work because I was trying to get myself better, they'd be calling me. They'd be calling me every day, which is really not helpful to relieve my anxiety.
I have a relative who is prone to periods of depression, and his employer hung in with him while he was off for months, and when he was well again, he got his job back. That just seems like a no-brainer that an employer wouldn't want to lose a good employee and would be able to accommodate some absences, but most employers won't do that.
I think people with mental health challenges have difficulty with employment because there is so much stigma, right? Employers sometimes won't even go there because they're afraid. Also, there is a growing trend towards depression becoming the #1 health issue, not just mental health, but workplace health issue in general.
If we had an ideal world, you could go in and say to your boss, "Hi, I don't want to come into work today because I'm feeling depressed." And that would be acknowledged in the same way that now, when you're sick, you can go in and say, "Hi, I can't work today, I'm feeling sick." And the thing is they're both symptoms of an illness, and so they should be acknowledged that way.
I used to become defensive at people who went, "Well, hey, you could have cancer. You don't have you don't have diabetes. It could be a lot worse." What the hell is a lot worse than going and hanging myself or killing myself because I'm depressed? Because I feel like my life is over.
20% of the population will experience mental health issues. So this isn't just your average crazy person on the street. This is like your parents, your mom might get depressed, your brother might have some anxiety issues. This is a thing that affects families.
I would ask my dad, what's wrong with mom? Why isn't she normal? And then he would just kind of brush it off to be like, oh, what's normal? Everybody defines normal on their own. I would say probably in my teens is when she would actually have episodes and stuff that finally my dad just had to tell me, okay, she has schizophrenia. Our family didn't really discuss it outside of our immediate family. It was taboo. It was not something that when we would have a gathering that they would be like, okay, so what's the treatment now? And is she doing this? And this was completely off topic. People will say, oh, I went downtown, this guy was talking to himself, and I'm just like, wait a minute, my mom talks to herself. Don't be talking about people like that. You have no idea what you're talking about. They're not crazy, they're sick. And then I would get that look like, oh, your mom talks to herself? And I'm like, yeah, so watch what you say, because my mom talks to herself too, and she's not, just some person on the street. And without us, she very well could be.
I still think so many homeless people who deal with mental health issues, and it's weird, I've met some of them and talked to them, and I'm like, where are these people's families? Where are these people's friends? Some of them they shouldn't even be out there. They're very highly intelligent, creative people that, for whatever reason, society has left them behind.
Having the illness is not a good experience with family and friends, and kind of been disowned.
When you have a mental health issue, as I say, your friends and family sometimes walk, and you have nobody. And the very best person to have on your team is somebody who's been through it.
There was nobody who knew what I was going through, and all I experienced was stigma and isolation from kids. Oh, you're that girl who went to rehab, that kind of thing. I was completely isolated. I ended up in treatment for the first time when I was 14. And that's when I was officially diagnosed with alcoholism, addiction, and anorexia. Much of my life was consumed by fighting mental illness and trying to get better or living with it in my addiction. And so a big part of who I am is